I think, for me, it would really be like that AI, especially in business, in the workplace, has to be integrated. So like I think about things where doesn't have to be the best AI, the best model, the best innovation that wins out. Oftentimes it's like the best integration into what you're trying to do. Like, are you really trying to solve a problem you understand properly? And is AI the right solution for that? I think that we saw that like people just giving employees AI tools and being like, all right, now be AI native. That doesn't work. That's where things fail. Whereas if you're actually looking at your workflows, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, deciding if AI is even the right tool, but then if it is, properly embedding it and doing workflow changes, culture changes, workforce changes, that's when AI is successful. It's not just like the fact that AI tools exist doesn't automatically make the change.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there was a kind of a mentality at the beginning of just put AI anywhere, right? Just slap it in anywhere you can, because we need to say, AI, we're AI enabled. And it's definitely changed since then. I think a lot of companies are learning that you can't just do that.
The sort of MIT study that came out towards the end of 2025 that said that 95% of startup pilots fail. What's your sort of take on that? I mean, the way I look at that is really sort of saying how, I kind of touched on it earlier, but like so many of these sort of pseudo pilots was just saying, we gave our team ChatGPT and we didn't see productivity increase. And so it failed. And so again, that's not really doing much transformation, or it's not embedded into workflows. It's just sort of expecting people to work out how to use these tools, work out how to improve their own processes. So I think that's, and also like, as someone who runs a lot of pilots with startups, with our customers, pilots fail, and that's kind of part of the process, right? Like, you're doing often a pilot to evaluate, is this something we should pursue or not? And so it's almost if none of your pilots are failing, then you're probably not being risky enough or trying things that are pushing the boundaries enough. So I also think there's some of that expected failure in there. But what's your kind of take on that study? It really got a lot of headlines. It got everyone like, oh, AI's, bubbles burst and all that stuff. Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I completely agree with you that I think that it really comes down to the level of innovation that you're doing. I mean, are you really innovating? And if you are, then you're going to see failure. I mean, it's going back to our startup days, the amount of times that we pivoted because our idea was not fitting the market, I think is happened so many times. It's bound to happen. But I think going back to that report, I think one of the main things that we need to take from it is that there was a lot of headlines, and the headlines didn't actually match the report. So like we had a lot of, like, the 95% of AI, endeavors fail. That's actually not what the report said. The report said that they survey a lot of companies, and out of those, it was like 40% actually are using AI. The other 60% are not. And then of that 40%, it's like, how many of you actually had a program to give it to your employees and actually walk them through how to use it? Or did you just kind of get the tool and kind of hand it off to them? So there's a lot of things that I think, taking a closer look, I would encourage everyone to take a real close look at that study, because it is insightful. But I also think that the kind of the way that the news outlets kind of covered it was not probably the best. But I think you're exactly right, man. It comes down to, you have to make sure that you kind of carry the torch from beginning to end. You can't just go and, give this tool to your employees and be like, all right, go and take it. And everyone is going and they're trying to ask it questions like, generate an image of me standing next to, Obama. And it's like everyone has, 6 fingers and an extra couple extra arms. I think that is, you have to understand where it's at and understand its capabilities and be able to train that to them and help them understand as it starts to gain new capabilities and understanding how they can leverage that in their job and in their processes.
Yeah, this is probably a bit of a tortured metaphor, but it's like getting someone a baseball bat and then walking away, not teaching them how to play baseball, not teaching them the rules, and then coming back and be like, that's a terrible baseball bat. Like, they didn't become a great baseball player. And it's like, you really have to, like you said, carry the torch end to end. What are you trying to accomplish? How are we going to do this? How are we going to measure? Then you actually have the framework for a successful pilot. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.